Hello there, this is Andrew. Um, I am going to be teaching a lesson, a real quick one, brief one on the road to succession. This video is paired with my slides presentation that will be found in Google and can be found attached below. So let's get started. So 1850s, we're talking road to succession, right around the Civil War. This is just before. So what we have, so problems with the sectional balance. So this is arguments over mainly slavery. South and North are starting to form over disagreements, and you also have just a general craziness going on with. So you have California that is trying to be a state. You have the Southern Fire Eaters threatening secession. That means they're going to succeed and leave the Union. You have the Underground Railroad and the Fugitive Slave Act. Those are two pretty prominent issues because one, the Fugitive Slave Act was a act that was passed to bring slaves that escaped to the North back to wherever they belonged or wherever they came from in the first place or escaped from. That was due to the fact that the government did not allow the importation of African slaves into the United States anymore. Therefore, they wanted to get the remaining ones that were in the United States back to where they came from. So those were some issues, and you had some pretty important issues with personal liberty laws. Personal liberty laws were in the U.S. history pre-Civil War, passed by the North state government to restrict and try and work with some of these fugitive slave acts and to try and actually protect some of these escaped slaves and help some of these slaves settle in the North. So that was part of the North's disagreement with the South. They kind of clashed a little bit there. So you had the Compromise of 1850, which involved sectioning off slave territories and free territories. If you look on your slides, there's a nice picture displaying that. So you have above here, you have New York, Pennsylvania. A lot of the northern states were free slave territories. So that was pretty much went along the division of Pennsylvania and a Virginia border. Pennsylvania was free, Virginia was not. Ohio was free, Kentucky was not. Indiana was free, Kentucky was not. Illinois was free, Kentucky was not, etc., etc. And you can see right here with the color-coded states which were free and which ones were slave territories. Then came Uncle Tom's Cabin. If you look here, there's a picture of a advertisement for it. So in 1852, it was one of the most popular books. So 300,000 copies of it were sold. This really opened up a lot of Northerners' eyes to issues of slavery and really got people thinking about it and got people motivated to actually see what some of those slavery issues were in the South. And that leads to Harriet Beecher Stowe, who was a very influential woman because she did write Uncle Sam's Cabin and was a very strong abolitionist. So an abolitionist is somebody who is for freeing slaves. She was against slavery, obviously, because she wrote the book, and she did not want any of that going on. Going on down to the Not Knowing Party. It's an American party, major. It was a quick and short American party that developed. They were anti-Catholic, anti-immigrant, nativist. They really structured around the Native Americans. They were actually, I believe they were also formerly known as the Native American Party because they really truly stood by the Native American people who were here. That's why they did not like the immigrants. The people who were originally here, that's pretty much what it was. So then this leads to a presidential election. You had Franklin Pierce. You had General Woodford Scott. You had John Parker Hale. And that was the presidential lineup right there. You had Franklin Pierce, who was a Democrat. You had General Winfield Scott, who was a Whig, part of the Whig Party. And then you had John Parker Hale, who was part of the Free Soil Party, which is another one of those parties. And if you go to your last slide here, you can see the election results of 1852, which obviously shows that Franklin Pierce, the Democrat, won a majority of the electoral votes significantly. So he was our 14th president, and that's what that led to. I really hope that you got a lot out of this video, and please feel free to rewind and rewatch this video to get any information that you may not have caught the first time. I suggest you rewatch this at least twice. Go along with the slides that I have here, and I wish you the best.